54% be fundable. It's a moot point as to whether that number is 54 or the number is 95. But the fact is how you need to first prioritize the projects to put in place, so to speak, the building block of enabling infrastructure for more infrastructure as well as the enabling policy framework. If you take these into a couple of case examples, you take Paradip Port. Paradip has had a bulk focus, will continue to have a bulk focus. It is situated bang in the middle of a very, very mineral-rich area, both in iron ore as well as thermal coal. What's happening right now is Paradip is actually only exporting close to 60% of the total iron ore output from the mineral region. The issue is connectivity as well as some issues on the facilities that are available at the port. So we need to probably look at the connectivity issue and the port facility issue, both for iron ore as well as thermal coal, where the berth capacity for thermal coal is 20 million tons. It handled 10.5 million tons last year, and this year it's been reduced because of the lack of rail wagons to actually transport thermal coal to the port. So the more you get into depth on looking at traffic patterns, the more critical the issue of connectivity as well as efficiency of handling infrastructure actually becomes. Okay, going forward. Therefore, does the NMDP address the key issues? I mean, one solution possibly is to take that 40 crores of the equity that they're putting into the rail connectivity project, all the money that they're putting into the other projects, let them add that to their equity in the connectivity project. Once you do that, you're giving a lot of users an incentive to use the port. Therefore, you're giving private players an incentive to come in and build the facility. It's a moot point as to whether you can actually have a clean cargo berth there or whether you can have a container berth there. We saw from Ramesh's presentation that of the total container traffic in the country, only 4% is in the east. Now, it's not fungible. That container traffic is not going to move very rapidly. But the port is sitting on a huge opportunity for bulk to actually enhance country competitiveness on a number of commodities. If you look at Ennore, it's another very interesting example. While Chennai does the highest volumes of iron ore export and commodity export from the mineral-rich regions around it, there is a problem that there is already high passenger traffic. The bigger problem is Chennai actually was intended to become a clean port. But what's happening is we are enhancing the dirty cargo handling facilities in Chennai. At the same time, giving Ennore a focus of being a bulk port and ultimately Chennai of being a container port. So, in the context of the NMDP, moving forward, does it address the issues? Is the investment focus competitive or complementary? For example, the wagon tippler at Chennai port, two things were done. One, a new one was installed. The earlier one was upgraded. The new one has a life of 20 years. Policy says that it should become a clean port in 3 years. Okay? So, while one has to bring out examples, I think what we're trying to do with these examples is actually to get to the rationale that we require a base policy building framework. Now, I know a lot of people are going to challenge this, saying let free market prevail. Where national competitiveness is involved, I think while free market has its place, there is also a requirement to provide an enabling environment for that free market to work, so that you're not creating competitive investments, but you're creating complementary investments. Therefore, just to summarize, what are some of the policy issues in the NMDP? What is the criteria for project selection? And then only how do you get into its financing? Are market forces actually driving investments? Is the importance of developing the core port infrastructure, efficiency infrastructure and connectivity infrastructure sufficiently prioritized? How do you actually ensure and manage the issue of complementary investment versus competitive investment? And I'm really going to leave you here by saying that, no, Bala, just one more second. One more. A lot of the assets are amenable to private sector funding. The issue that I'd like to leave with you on financing is it is not going to be a constraint on availability of money. We've seen that sector after sector. While there may be an argument that we've invested 10,000 crores in the sector in the last 20 years and we're looking at 50,000 in the next 10 years, the context is changing. That 50,000 crores will be available if we enable it to become available. And that's really the challenge for us. If you go to the next slide. Market forces and demand outlook is positive. We are working in a clear positive environment for market. We need to prioritize the creation of core port and connectivity infrastructure, as well as give PSP a chance to work in its truest sense in terms of the policy framework. And then the challenge of actually attracting investment. The investment, whether it be 50,000, 75,000, 100,000 crores, once we actually get into due diligence, once the port strategy plans are available moving forward, the challenge is not going to be in finding that money. The challenge is not going to be in finding the money if we can give it an opportunity to provide returns. I think the challenge is going to be in creating that environment. And I'm leaving it here for Bala to actually talk you through what are some of our recommendations on creating that policy and regulatory framework. Thanks.
Thanks, Gopal. We'll make it as brief as possible, leaving you large space for responding to your questions. Taking on from where Gopal had left, I'm Bala Subramanian, Bala IDFC. Basically, this comes, the first issue we have before us is clearly there's a space. Raju, just put it to this line. Assets. See, there's all the enabling framework now. So this enabling framework to actually crystallize requires a set of policy actions and strategic imperatives which are to be immediately handled. First is, when we say projects, the first experience is what has been the project development experience in Indian ports so far. When we say project development, what do you mean? Just to lay down a common denominator here. It should be able to basically prioritize projects, basic projects from the point of view of economic efficiency and financial viability. And we also include in this basic due diligence and addressing all the issues, including economic crime across multiple sectors. Today, what is happening? There is private investor and public funds both competing to get some share of the projects. Now, the issue is, how is that happening today in India? Now, the existing process is clearly PPP-centric. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But does the process ensure efficiency? As we say, instead of revisiting the slides, NMDP had 3% looking at efficiency improvement, which is leveraging existing assets. One of the main reasons is also that if you have a PPP framework to take over labor, if it's existing budget to take over labor, with this spur, this is an issue we'll have to look into detail next. Now, if there are issues in bulk cargo ports, vying for a piece of the clean cargo, then there are larger issues of bringing the projects in respect of container terminal, where the risks and the investment magnitude is of substantially higher order. So the first issue is, are we developing the right projects? Because today the project developments emanate from the public sector. Next, the focus has been, if your container port, our eagerness is to add more container ports because there's a demonstrated traffic. But what about the connectivity issue in that equation? If there are bulk ports which want to do containers, but the key issue for most of the bulk ports today is that how do you enhance your share of the cake? If this particular port has to competitively position itself in the bulk platform, one of the important reasons would be a cost advantage in case of low value, high volume, primary commodities like bulk. If ports have to relook at the project development and probably relook at some of the projects, would some of the ports get some extraordinary leverage on the right type of investments in connectivity? Next. I think the fundamental issue we are coming back is what you call project development. The port authorities today who decide which ports should come to the market do face genuine conflicts of interest because they are landlords as well as operators. There's also serious challenges in structuring the projects. a lot of effort goes into developing a project. How do you make the structure of the project, making sure that the entire linkages are